The Las Vegas Raiders, and at the time they were the Oakland Raiders when they did these deals, Antonio Brown, Tyrell Williams, LaMarcus Joyner, Trent Brown, all now gone. Huge money invested. Now, I don't know how much Antonio Brown ultimately got. He had a series of grievances after his crazy 2019 season. But, my goodness, look, Chris, and they're going to trade Trent Brown to the Patriots for nothing. It's a swap of future seventh-round picks, and Trent Brown is redoing his deal. And I'm told that, Trent Brown was motivated to go ahead and do this because the Raiders could have squatted on him for a while, waited until after the draft, and his potential alternatives could have dried up. So the Patriots wanted to bring him back. He does a deal now that allows him to be a free agent next year. It's a win-win out of a bad situation, but the worst part of it is the Raiders paying that kind of money. That was one of those right out of the gates, 2019, huge free agency deals, moved him from left tackle to right tackle, and it's been a disaster. And the free agency for the Raiders, the big money free agency, has been a disaster. And this traces back to the idea that the guy who's running the show doesn't have to worry about getting fired. Chris, I talked about this last night on PFTPM.
Yeah.
When your boss is not going to fire you, you can be a mad scientist. You can take all sorts of crazy chances. There's no accountability like there would be for other coaches / de facto general managers. So, hey, sorry, Mark, we tried. We're trying to make a better team here. We don't know how these guys are going to be until they show up. That's what the market required us to pay. We did what we had to do, and now we're going to move on to the next guy. That's how football works, Mark. Sorry, let's keep going.
No, I mean, listen, I think there's some truth there, certainly. I know, again, I don't think John Gruden's trying to go renegade on anything. I think he is trying to build something. But, yeah, obviously they've made mistakes. There's no doubt about that. LaMarcus Joyner was underwhelming since he came from the Rams. Of course, Trent Brown, he barely played. There's that. There's been the misuse of draft picks. Hey, Clelin Ferrell at number 4 a few years ago, it's a horrible pick. It's horrible. The Arnett kid in the first round last year, Damon Arnett coming out of nowhere, again, has talent, but I don't think he was the 19th pick of the draft, something like that. So they've taken some risk on a few players, and it hasn't worked out. And when you do that, and this is where, hey, the politics of drafting and things like that go in, then now people look at you extra hard and go, well, what the hell were you thinking? What were you doing? So, it doesn't look great for them right now. It's a big offseason. I think that's why they're cutting some of the fat here on the offensive line, because they're starting to go, all right, wait, we got some weapons. We got a running back. Our quarterback's good. All right, we got John Gruden. He can figure out how to protect and do some of these things. He's an offensive genius without all the best offensive linemen in football, and they got to start allocating some resources on the defensive side of the ball. We talked about it, I think, was it last week or 2 weeks ago when we hit the AFC West? I mean, it's crapola on the front seven. You know what I mean? I don't mean crapola, but there's nobody special. There's nobody, any team's game planning going, oh, no, if we don't double team this guy, we're ruined. Oh, gosh, this pass rusher, whoa, if we don't stop him and have a back chip and send a tight end, we'll never beat them. They got nothing like that. They have nothing. I do think Gus Bradley on the defensive side will help develop some of this young talent. Trayvon Mullen, Abrams, do things like that. Gus Bradley's a really damn good coach. But, yes, it hasn't been great so far. I can't deny that. And I will say this, too, Mike, just before the Trent Brown. Hey, he deserves some of this, too. This is Trent Brown, 2 out of 3 teams that basically get rid of him.
And why'd you pay him?
I don't know. You're right. I'm not trying to defend him.
Look, I think at the time we sounded the alarm. He flamed out in San Francisco.
Flamed out.
They found a way to turn his performance into chicken salad in New England.
That's what New England does. Right.
And then in comes the Raiders, and they think they can just plug this guy in, and he's just going to be as great as he was in New England. Oh, we're going to make him right tackle instead of left tackle. So what? We're going to give him all this money. And another example of one of these guys who gets signed the first day of free agency, and it's a big deal, and it's a record contract, and it falls apart.
Well, and you're right. But I'll say this in their defense. The New England wanted Trent Brown too. They just couldn't pay him the amount of money the Raiders. I don't think they weren't willing to do that. But, yeah, as of right now, and again, that was a risky sign because you're right. There was a lot of warnings. Kyle Shanahan loves offensive linemen. I don't know what went on there, but he just doesn't let, the best right tackles in football out the door and not really get much in return for it. Yeah, New England got them straight. Well, we've seen New England do that. They can get guys straight that others can't because of the culture and everything that's up there. But yeah, Trent Brown went there, and it's not because of play. It's Mayock said it. When he plays, he's one of the best in the game. It's all the other stuff. It's not being dedicated to your craft. That's what you hear about Trent Brown. So there is no value, and yeah, it's a mistake on the Raiders, and they got some building to do to help their football team.
And I've had people ask me, why isn't Mayock the one who's on the firing line here? Because Gruden runs the show, period. And there was some chatter that Mayock was in trouble, but I believe, based on what I've heard, that Gruden realized he wasn't going to find anybody better. See, because when you're the coach and you're also in charge, it's much harder for you to pluck guys who are with other teams to be your GM because you're really not making them the general manager of the team because you retain all of the control over the draft, over the roster, over everything important. So you have to go outside the normal boundaries. It's one of the reasons why your guy Kyle had to go get John Lynch.
Sure.
Because Kyle retains so much of the authority, you can't hire somebody from another team. One of the reasons why Raiders had to go get Mike Mayock. He wasn't attached to anyone. You didn't have to get permission that would have been denied because Gruden's in charge. Gruden does a good job of concealing to a certain extent the fact that this is all on him. And it is, Chris, it is all on him. And when you don't have that healthy fear that if you screw up enough times you're going to get fired, you're more willing to take risks. And they've taken a lot of risks. And I credit them for acknowledging their mistakes instead of concealing them. But again, when you're golden, when you've got 10 years of job security, you don't need to worry about covering up your mistakes.
No, I hear you. I hear you. And again, they made these moves thinking they were going to work. Yeah, they were wrong. Like I said, the ones that they took risk on, they're going to backfire on them because those are ones that just pop out and you're going to go, what the hell were you thinking with these picks or that signing or whatever else? But there's still been a lot of positives there. There's no doubt. They were a better football team this year. They're close. So I'm not going to and again, I understand everything you're saying. Yeah, he's got some wiggle room. But I know the guy, he's a psycho. He's trying to do it the right way. Yeah, he made mistakes, and now we're holding him accountable right now. But this is a huge offseason. Well, doesn't matter.
Well, as long as Mark Davis doesn't, he's fine.
Well, but we see enough also on social media that it's a real conversation about the Raiders. Once people just continue to beat it down and what the hell are you doing in free agency in the draft and do that, Mark Davis will have no choice but to listen here at some point. And this is a crucial year for the Raiders. It really is. It's a big year for John Gruden, Mike Mayock, and that football team. There's a lot of things I like, but there's a lot of things I don't like, and they need to get to work on.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.